have expanded their diplomatic relations with a number of countries, Pakistan, Iran, China, and Russia. All of them are not only talked to them, they somehow recognize Taliban as a reality. So that's why the US has also changed. That's another reason. The third reason is the increasing role of regional players in the Afghan affairs. So Russia didn't have a major role in the Afghan affairs in the first decade, post 9/11 decade. But later on, their approach changed. There was suspicion. They were fed up that this is not going anywhere. Drug production is increasing, violence is increasing. So the U.S. Is unable to resolve this conflict or doesn't want to resolve this conflict. That was the suspicion in Iran, in China, and in Russia. So that's why they increased their activities in Afghanistan by establishing contacts with not only Taliban but with other local players in Afghanistan. And then stalemate was another major factor which prompted the U.S. to change its approach. The U.S. Used its force over the past 17 years, especially in 2018. In 2018, the U.S. Dropped more than 8,000 bombs in Afghanistan. So that was a record high, more than any other year since 9/11. But the stalemate didn't change. The U.S. generals now accept that the stalemate is the same. So there was a realization that this cannot be won through military force alone. And cost is another factor. The U.S. Pays $45 billion a year on the Afghan war. So this is another factor. And Trump's isolationism and America First approach is another reason. And another reason is the domestic politics in the U.S. and political timetable, elections. Because Trump wants to end this war and he wants to win election. Because if he manages to end this war, he would have ended the longest war in U.S. history. So Afghanistan is the longest war in the history of the United States. If he does that, so then he can show to his people that I have saved money, I have ended the war, the longest war in our history. So these are the major reasons that we have seen this dramatic shift. So the peace process or the peace talks has two phases. The first phase is between the U.S. and Taliban. That's why we witnessed over the past few months that the U.S. talked to the Taliban in 4 rounds of talks. The last one, the 5th one, ended yesterday. This was the longest. And the second phase will be among the Afghans, which is called the intra-Afghan dialogue. So that will happen after there is enough progress in the first phase. So it seems that there is enough progress in the first phase. The special envoy for Afghanistan reconciliation, Zulmay Khalilzad, will go to Washington to brief the American leaders, and then he will come up with something tangible which will pave the way for a proper intra-Afghan dialogue. But there are, of course, risks and challenges. Many things can go wrong. One of them is that Trump can announce the withdrawal, whether there is a deal or there isn't one. So this is possible because he's a man in a hurry. His withdrawal is, by the way, not conditional. Initially, when he announced his strategy for South Asia and Afghanistan in August 2017, he said that the troop presence in Afghanistan will be based on conditions. If conditions improve, we will leave Afghanistan. If they don't improve, we will stay forever. So this is what he implied in that strategy. But now he wants to leave, and this departure is not conditional on the outcome of peace talks in Afghanistan or the intra-Afghan dialogue. So he can easily say that I tried, it's now up to the Afghans. So that's one thing which can go wrong, an early departure. The second thing which can go wrong is the regional situation. If there are tensions within the region, especially Iran, UAE, Saudi tension, if they increase, it will have a negative impact on the Afghan situation. India-Pakistan rivalry will have a direct and negative impact on the Afghan peace talks and the peace overall security situation, and the U.S.-Iranian situation, Washington-Moscow relations, if there is more tension. So these are the things which can go wrong. And from there, it will be up to the Afghan individuals and leaders to drive events. So I believe that the second phase will be more challenging and more difficult than the first one. Because in the first phase, issues are simple. There are two major issues. The timetable for the withdrawal of foreign forces from Afghanistan. The timetable can be 1 year, 2 years, it doesn't matter. But there has to be a timetable. And then the second, which is important for the US, is the guarantees that Afghanistan wouldn't be a threat for its national security and the security of its allies in the future. So Taliban wouldn't have any links with Al-Qaeda, or Daesh, or other such groups which has agenda of attacking outside Afghanistan. So these are simple issues compared to the local issues and the intra-Afghan stuff, which will be more challenging and more time-consuming, I think. When it comes to the region, again, very important part of the whole process. The U.S. troop presence in Afghanistan changed the strategic landscape of South and Central Asia. So in post-2011 Afghanistan, the arrival of U.S. forces changed the whole strategic landscape. It was accepted by China, Russia, Iran, and everybody else that this is needed to combat terrorism, because it was also a threat to them, to tackle the drug issue. Again, a serious threat to regional countries as well. But with the passage of time, there was a realization in these regional capitals that the U.S. has failed to achieve these objectives. So that's why these countries have decided that the U.S. must leave Afghanistan. So none of these countries, Iran, Pakistan, Russia, and China, wants a permanent U.S. military presence in Afghanistan. And that's where the Taliban and these countries' agenda match. So all of them have the same goal, that the U.S. must leave. But the good thing is that none of them want